Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Currency of Anarchy. I'm Josh Davis.
I'm John Moss.
And if you'd like to be a part of the discussion during our live tapings, please check us out at youtube.com/CurOfAnarchy on Monday nights at 9 p.m., 6 p.m. Pacific. And you can see the final product on the air Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. And please check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/CurOfAnarchy. If you're here during the live taping, you can post any questions and comments to the Q&A section we have going, and we'll certainly get to that as soon as possible. And now a word from our sponsors.
Holly Cogburn runs Homebody, a body care, vanity, and cosmetic products company. She contracts using USD, Bitcoin, homebody products, and fresh produce. She is proud to say that she started the business without the assistance of bank loans. In her words, fuck bank loans and fuck their interest rates. For the most part, fuck banks. She paid for costs out of pocket and has steadily and sustainably grown from there. She believes in a free, fair, and reputation-based market, so please find Holly at homebodyco.com or facebook.com/homebodyco. Introducing a customized media player with no monthly fees. A one-time purchase and installation of this device and you're ready to watch the latest movies and TV shows for free. Anything you can imagine or want to watch can be found on the box connected to your home internet connection. These units are locked and loaded using Android and Linux technology. You get access to over 7,000 channels all over the world, live, including sporting events, pay-per-view, wrestling, boxing, and more. Google Play Store comes pre-installed with access to all Android apps, including Popcorn Time, Showbox, Netflix, Facebook, Pandora, and more. All units are rooted and have capability to download or play from a USB or external hard drive. Please call Paul at 978-335-9842 or email him directly at info@paulhennick.com.
And now, so tonight we have a very special guest, especially where I'm just moving to Hudson, New Hampshire. Robert Mathias is here with us tonight from the Rebel Love Show, and he's been trying to coax me to get to these move parties, and I'm going to take him up on that next month, but it's been a crazy month. Anyway, how are you doing, Robert?
I'm doing fantastic. It's been one crazy week this week, and this upcoming week's just going to be as intense.
Really? Can you talk about it?
All right, let me go forth what my life is like in the Shire just this past week. All right, we do our show every Tuesday night on. Yeah. Oh, thank you, dude. He's pointing out a bunch of cool stuff for me. All right. At any rate, we do our show every Tuesday night live on LRN.FM. You can also go to rebelloveshow.com/watch or live, just rebelloveshow.com, and you'll see us. We'll have our live show that you can go watch. Then after that, God, what happened that week? Produced the Seditious Sirens episode on Friday. There's a party that actually ditched a little bit early on Saturday. And then Sunday was the huge pub crawl. Tonight's this. Tomorrow's my show again. Then Wednesday is both me and Shire Dude are going on a School Sucks project. Then Thursday is a Manch karaoke event here in Manchester that Shire Dude's organizing. Friday is a checkpoint party. So basically, the Manch PD do a checkpoint for DUI check. What have you. We're going to be there cop blocking it and having on film. I think Shire Dude might actually be live streaming that. He is. And then Saturday there's a poly karaoke thing that we're going to as well. So literally every night this week I have something planned, something going on for like almost every day. And it's and then after that I'm hitting Portsmouth up with my rebel mistress, and we're going to spend the night out there that Sunday, which we're also going to go to Church of the Sword up in Concord at Area 23 Sunday morning, because I actually haven't gone to that except for at Pork Fest, so I kind of want to go check that out again, and I kind of want to see what the new Area 23 looks like. So that's what I'm doing for the next full week.
That is busy.
And I work my day job.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm very interested in that DUI checkpoint thing. Can you talk about that? You've done it before, right?
Yeah. So basically, usually we get about anywhere between 20 to 45 porcupines, sometimes more, that come out. Basically, in New Hampshire, the police actually have to release publicly when they're doing a checkpoint. Now, mind you, that checkpoint sometimes is in different locations in the city, but normally it's on Bridge Street, which is literally like 2 blocks away from the Quill, which is a private social club here in Manchester for porcupines. So literally we just all go out a couple blocks, walk to the checkpoint, and with cameras rolling, we'll get a bunch of people saying, going on the other side of the bridge to where the entrance would be, and diverting traffic away from Bridge, telling drivers not to go on there to police checkpoint, whatnot. We'll have people coming up, handing us money, thanking us from preventing them from being searched by the police. We even go to the point where we'll walk around to the different bars with cop block literature and telling the bartenders to tell their patrons, like, hey, there's a checkpoint on Bridge, don't go over there. If you're drinking, don't drive on Bridge. And I actually have a YouTube video that I made. It was actually just on my Raw channel, which is VRebel Raw, if you want to catch like all the Raw footage that I put up. But my rebel mistress at the time, it was a date. I took her on a date to a cop block DUI checkpoint, and we were walking around Elm Street when she was just holding a sign that said checkpoint on Bridge, and you'll see all these like crazy interactions with people coming up, hugging her, high-fiving her, like thanking us for warning them about the police checkpoint. I mean, it's the coolest form of cop blocking to do when you actually don't interact with police. You just walk around to different bars drinking and telling people not to go on Bridge. I find that a very enjoyable form of cop blocking.
Nice. Did anybody hit on your date?
Sure, maybe. They might have. If they did, that's cool. I mean, we're poly. She can be with whoever she wants to be with. I'm with whoever I want to be with.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's awesome. I mean, the idea that you're telling other people and warning about aggression. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I wish I ever saw that in college. I went to college in Connecticut, and there were a lot of checkpoints, honestly. I mean, I'm sure John can attest to that, John living in Connecticut. But yeah, I couldn't stand Connecticut. Anyway.
Well, I mean, that's why I left Illinois. Illinois had a huge amount of checkpoints, and I couldn't stand it.
Yeah. I've never seen any in Massachusetts. Honestly.
Well, you need it. You're going to come to this checkpoint then, right? Friday night, 9 o'clock.
Well, I'm thinking about it now. Yeah, I'll keep you posted on that. Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll show you around if you hit Manch. I'll show you around and whatnot. You'll have a good time. There's a lot of great bars in Manch.
I've been there only twice, and for entirely different reasons. One, because I was dating a girl who lived in Manchester. Two, just for this like porn shop or something.
Oh, you're talking about forbidden fruit.
Yeah, that must be it.
It's the only porn shop I know of on Elm, so that had to be it.
That has to be it, yeah. John, any questions or comments?
No, just I think it's cool that you do the police checkpoints. I haven't gotten a chance to do that too much around here in Connecticut, but because I never know when they're going to be. Robert, what do you do? How do you find out where these checkpoints are going to be? I mean, are the police open about it? Like, do they tell the press, or do you call them and pretend to be the press? Or how do you get that information where they're going to be?
The police actually have to, legally, according to the state of New Hampshire, have to release publicly, like a public release of when they do it. So they actually post it on their blog, they post on their Twitter account. The local newspapers usually have a blurb about it as well. And I'll be honest, there's so many cop blockers in New Hampshire that like I get invited to these events. I don't even know when it happens until I get the invite usually, and I'll usually see like all throughout my friends list I'll get multiple invites. It'll be posted in multiple different Facebook groups. There's always someone paying attention to when they are. They usually have one. They usually do it once a month, sometimes every couple of weeks, but it's usually once a month they do a checkpoint.
That's cool. Yeah, it's tough to get that around here, and it's tough to even get something started around here. There's so many fucking statuses around here. It's unbelievable. Like you mentioned going to cop block a DUI checkpoint, and they're like, "Wow, what are you doing? Checkpoints are for your safety. They catch drunk drivers."
Don't get me wrong. We get that. I mean, I would say probably maybe 60% of the drivers are, they're welcoming to it, and we do get a lot of support when we're out there. But there's still a status out there that's, get a job and stuff like that. I mean, I had that happen to me a couple times while I was out there. But it is what it is. You can't win over everybody.
Yeah. No, of course, yeah. I mean, there's so many people who actually believe these things are out there catching drunk drivers and that they're actually doing good. And a lot of people just don't realize that the police departments catch far, far, far more people with expired registrations, random moving violations, and things like that. And as opposed to the ratio of actual drunk drivers they catch, it's almost zero.
Oh, it's all about revenue. I mean, both me and Shirdu here have upcoming court battles where we know we're going to lose, but we're basically going to try and petition the court so that we can donate that money, the ticket, to like a private charity or a porcupine ran charity instead of giving it back to the state where they're just going to use those funds to steal from our people. We both have court dates coming up. His is in June, mine's in July. But I'm always trying to fight every single ticket I get just so I can go to court. Even if I know I'm going to lose, at least I'm going to drag them out through it,
Yeah, I love that a lot. I mean, if the state is trying to extort you for $100, make them spend $300 to get it.
Oh yeah, make them pay a bunch of people to stand in a room for hours on end just to get that money from me. Yeah. Yeah,
because you figure, I mean, if you're fighting a ticket, the officer that shows up, he's getting overtime for it, and I mean that's a ton of money. So yeah, make the state go into the red trying to get that money from you, but I absolutely don't hand it over. I agree.
Yeah, talk about what Shirdu does with the events for like the pub crawl, if I can say it. That'd be great.
He's been on he actually has a history of doing a lot of social events. He created Liberty on the Rocks chapter back in Orange County before he moved. And he's been doing a bunch of different events from time to time all throughout since he moved to the Shire. But these pub crawls have been the most popular. These last two have been amazing. And what's really funny, there's basically the Free Coast Festival out in Portsmouth. They have a pub crawl last year, and you had to pay like $100 to be part of it. Now, I mind you, I just went to the pub crawl because I worked that whole time, and I had a really crappy job back then, and I really couldn't afford a ticket to begin with. Now I've got a better job. But at any rate, our last two pub crawls blew their pub crawl out of the water. And it's like, there was no admittance to it. You can just come and go to different bars with us, which how a pub crawl should be. Now, mind you, in their defense, they did have a cruise, and they were at a hotel, and they had speakers and dinners and stuff like that. But it was still a better pub crawl. Though Portsmouth is beautiful if you ever get a chance to go out there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I love Portsmouth. I love the beach anyway. My original background for this show was just a beach theme, very simple theme music for this show as well. But it doesn't matter where you are. Like, you could be in South Carolina, Massachusetts, New Hampshire. Beach is awesome to me. I mean, it's just so relaxing, and it's just, I don't know. I kind of want to go back to that myself.
It's kind of crazy. I lived most of my life in the Midwest. Yeah. All right. So when I moved here, I had never been on the East Coast before I moved. I never set foot in New Hampshire and the Shire. I never set up on the East Coast anywhere. The farthest east I ever been was Indiana and Michigan. And the first thing I did, not first thing, but at one point during the summer, like I went to the beach a couple times. It was the first time I ever stepped foot in the Atlantic Ocean. And then for my old job, I had to go. I had to go to a conference out in LA, which is actually really cool because I got to walk through Shire Dude's old stomping grounds and hang out with the activists that he hung out with during Liberty Rocks, and I actually talked at that Liberty on the Rocks about the Shire and whatnot. But it was really cool, like going to the beach there. So in 1 year, I was able to like touch both the Atlantic and the Pacific. I don't know. It was like a bucket list thing to do to see both oceans, like in 1 year. That was a cool little achievement. But I don't know. I enjoyed the beach.
I'm exceedingly embarrassed to say that I've never been to the Pacific.
Well, if it wasn't for my job, I wouldn't have made it out there.
Well, hey, whatever. I'll take an excuse over whatever, not doing it at all. So, yeah, I love what you do. And
see, it's weird. Our show, it's going through phases and changes. Like, because there's this whole thing with Shire time. So, like here in the Shire, especially if you live a hard life, like a hardcore life, usually like a couple months is a year. So I call them Shire years. And since the show started, we're on season 5. We're just kind of starting that up, season 5 now, and that's probably going to this season's probably going to be short. It's pretty much going to be May and June because PorkFest is just going to like multiply that tremendously.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like for us, our show started off as kind of like a what's going on in the Shire and like updates and stuff like that. But even then, in reality, it's really just been nothing more than a hangout show. But it's definitely evolved, and it's what's really odd. And I never thought this would really happen and whatnot. But when you're surrounded by so many liberty-minded people, so many volunteers and anarchists and libertarians and even minarchists, but like you're surrounded by all these people that they get that the state's bad, yeah. And you find yourself no longer debating people usually. In person about why they should be free. They get that. I get that. They get that. I don't feel the need to do that when I'm in social situations like ever here. So I can actually like it's like a whole huge burden lifted off of my chest. And we kind of talk about it to now. It's really about what life is like for us here in Manchester, living amongst a bunch of liberty-minded people. I mean, poly's a huge thing here. We talk about it. Our show is almost more a poly show at this point, as much as a activist show. It's still, to me, it is probably very niche, but it's a unique thing to be living around a bunch of people that are, this mindset all the time. It's like a lot of people say, like they love PorkFest because they're surrounded by all these like-minded people and they're having a great time. I left PorkFest and I went home to PorkFest. I live it. I live it. Like I use Bitcoin all the time. I have hundreds and hundreds of transactions since the beginning of the year that all are in person.
Right.
Like just being around so many people that think like me. I know that sounds, maybe even colty to say or whatnot, but I can literally be whoever I want to be, and there's no social problem with that whatsoever. As long as I'm not violating the NAP, no one cares. So you can really be whoever you want to be all the time.
Yeah, that is amazing. And I notice I work at a major casino in Connecticut, so I get customers and players from literally all over the country. And I gotta say that every time I get somebody from New Hampshire, we just start talking. Hey, where are you from? What are you up to? And everybody from New Hampshire, I've got to say, is like-minded, even if they're not like in the know or consider themselves a libertarian. I've had people who have never even heard of the Free State Project, like New Hampshire residents who have never heard of the Free State Project, but just instinctually know it's not okay to initiate violence. It's not okay to spy. It's not okay. All these things, they just get it, even though they're not quote-unquote tuned into the movement. New Hampshire residents seem to just get it. And I've never gotten that anywhere else.
Half my coworkers own guns. Half of my coworkers, like, we'll talk about, what gun they have, or talking about I ask them if you open carry, concealed carry. Like, sometimes I open carry, sometimes I won't. Depends if I'm with some people, but normally I'm always concealed carrying. I'll see people walking into my store. I work a sales position, which pays well, but still retail, but it's a great sales job. I actually really love that job. But I'll see people walking in like open carrying, or I know they're concealed carrying. I'll always assume wherever I go that someone's concealed carrying at some point or another. Like is a definite gun culture here, which is really fascinating to see because from where I came from, nobody had a gun and no one ever carried. It just wasn't a thing. And I don't see it like all the time, but I see it enough to where it's a presence.
So
yeah,
you
that's how it is here. I mean, I could never dream of open carrying here in Connecticut, even though I have the proper permission slip to do so. It's just something that nobody does.
Let me tell you this. One of the coolest things I did here was like over a year ago. It was like I think March of last year, and I filmed an open carry event at the Manchester International Airport where an activist walked up to the TSA line, open carrying a rifle, while handing out FPP newsletter about how Davi Barker was detained over Bitcoin at that airport after the previous year's Liberty Forum. And that was intense and amazing. And what's crazy is they didn't even care about the open carrying. They cared the fact that he was handing out information.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people here, they have a strong liberty-oriented view. I mean, live free or die is kind of a thing here. Like, there's a lot of people that they're close to that. They're not big status here. You know, I mean,
Oh yeah.
it's also New Hampshire in general has like a crazy. I'm not into politics, but like even their politics are crazy. Where I mean, there's roughly about 15 to 20 porcupines in the state house right now, and they do have a sway in the Republican Party and the Democrats. There's I think 3 or 4 Democrats that are porcupines, and those porcupines and the Republicans and whatnot push for full-on legalization of pot, and the governor here, a Democrat, vows to veto it. Which is just crazy. It's like a flip-flop world that
Right.
In politics in New Hampshire, which is just crazy in itself.
yeah, I don't care for politics at all anymore.
No, I don't follow it much, but
Yeah, I don't get it anymore. Like I used to try to follow it, you know, and I think I've said before on this show that I must have been an anarchist up until after college, and then I started getting into politics and caring about what's going on, and you know, I thought my opinion was like the most important thing, and then I found Ron Paul and got out of politics into minarchism and then back to anarchism. I'm pretty sure I was an anarchist all my life, you know, because you don't care, and if you don't care, then you know you're letting other people live the way they should.
well,
You know?
I would say this in New Hampshire, especially in regards to porcupines. Like, there's a big difference with minarchists outside of New Hampshire and inside New Hampshire. Most minarchists out in the the rest of the country and whatnot, they still believe that there should be a state, that there still needs to be something. Okay, these porcupines that are in the state house, yeah, they're putting their minarchist cap on, but they're putting it on. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're infiltrating the system, so to speak. They're not, they're not. They're trying to do whatever they can from within to jam up the process. All right, and what's really fascinating living here is I'll go to a Bitcoin meetup. All right, there's always a Bitcoin meetup every. The world's longest Bitcoin meetup is actually in Manchester, New Hampshire, at Strangebrew. Though, if I have anything to say about it, it's gonna move to a new bar because I can't stand that bar right now. But at any rate, I'll go to this meetup where sometimes 20-some people will show up, sometimes even 40, and I'll be sitting across the table from either a state rep. Or I'll be sitting across the table from like a civil disobedience activist or an agorist or a Bitcoin entrepreneur, something like that. Like there's always it's what's fascinating is everyone that moves here for liberty and tries to get active and do something. Everyone does their own thing. Everyone does what they're passionate about or what they can do, but everyone still comes to the table. You know, so like I'll make these ties with all these different people that are doing these different things. You know, I may be doing something completely different than what they're doing, but we all still interact and we all still communicate with each other.
That's really interesting because this reminds me of Jeff Berwick and what he's doing right now. I don't know if you guys have been following, but Jeff Berwick is now apparently running for office in Canada. I don't know. I don't remember which. I think it was for one of the provinces.
I'll be honest, I kind of stopped following Jeff Berwick after the whole Gulch fiasco of his, which I kind of just stopped following what he does.
I don't think I know what you're referring to, though.
Dude, it wasn't like a business deal where like he was trying to get people to buy property in Chile.
Oh.
And then that just fell through. He kept pushing that really hard, even though he didn't live in Chile. He lives in Acapulco.
Yeah.
Sport golf? Was that it?
Yeah, and that ended in flames, didn't it? Or just fizzled out into nothing.
Right. But you know, like I respect him mostly because he follows economics. You know, he's the dollar vigilante, and you know, I've had him on the show before due to Michael. Again, thank you, Michael. There you are. There's the camera. So I think that you know, Jeff's a good guy, but now he's confusing me. You know, anarchists, you know, for the most part, we just don't care about politics. And now he cares about politics, and what he's saying is he's doing it because he's at least doing something. And I think that kind of goes along with this whole porcupines infiltrating the New Hampshire government. So it's all the same. It makes sense to a degree.
Well, see, for me, I have living here before I moved. All right, before I moved, I'm still full anarchist and voluntarist and whatnot. I don't believe the state should exist. I don't believe anyone has any kind of control over me or ownership over me in any way, shape, or form. Yada yada yada. However, I don't know. Moving here, seeing stuff that porcupines have pushed and stopped in the house, and on top of that, I am a board member for the Foundation for New Hampshire Independence. And we're having an event June 3rd at Able Ebenezer, which is a microbrewery in Merrimack. 8 o'clock, you should come. Anyways, I had to throw a little pitch in there. I put my Maracast hat on for that because it's kind of like a think tank thing where it's kind of like trying to promote the idea of New Hampshire independence. Don't get me wrong, I don't want the state of New Hampshire to exist. However, if I can take 80% of my tyranny out of my life by New Hampshire declaring independence from the Union, I'll take that. That's a step in the right direction for me. So I'm trying to promote that a lot, even though I believe in self-governance, self-ownership, but that at least has something to like. Not everyone's on our wavelength. You know what I'm saying? Right. Not everyone is at this point where they don't believe anything should exist, and anything that causes more separation, lesser government, to me is a noble thing to push for, I guess. See, I don't believe in the federal government at all. I'm not going to support any politician or any person that ever runs for federal office. I'm not going to support Rand Paul or anybody else going into national politics. But at a locally level, if enough porcupines can take over a city council or take over the state house or whatnot, and they can actually get in there and promote secession, that's a step in the right direction. And it's clogging up the system too. We never had a moment where, as a libertarian, when I was a libertarian, seeing how like the closest thing a libertarian ever gets elected to is, like a city council thing or something like that. Here we have like 20-some libertarians and or self-proclaimed anarchists in the state house here.
Yeah, so to back up your claim, you're kind of making sense because that's one way to spread the message, to spread the education. And, whatever way, shape, or form that education gets spread, that's great. At the same time, I am sort of an idealist, and I believe that in the end, it's just either going to consume the person trying to, infiltrate the government, as it were, or basically the dollar's just going to collapse anyway, all this other stuff. The government is going to grow. I don't think that governments shrink, not permanently. They just keep on growing, and they're going to collapse in on themselves.
Well, that's why I'm
Um,
trying to promote New
right.
Hampshire independence, because in all likelihood, the federal government will probably collapse at some point.
Yeah.
If there's a general popularity of New Hampshire independence, it would make it easier for us to simply secede.
Yeah.
That's the goal, because it's coming. Whether New Hampshire declares independence or the federal government collapses on its own weight. At any rate, that's going to happen. I'm just trying to push that as fast as I can.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, as far as Berwick running, yeah, I thought it was a bit confusing myself at first, because here's this anarcho-capitalist who's constantly saying things like, don't legitimize the system and yada yada yada, all those other cliches that we're all familiar with. But let's be honest here. The state is not going to go away by ignoring it. The state's not going to go away from agorism alone, or peaceful parenting alone, or unschooling alone. The state's just not going to go away by ignoring it. So,
Okay, well, here's my thing.
Sure.
All right, I agree with you 110% about that. A lot of times I kind of feel as if everything that we're kind of doing is probably for naught. However, I can look in the mirror and see, look at myself. It's like, what did I do to I gotta stand up for what I believe in. For me living here, I live as free as I can every single day. I don't worry about victimless laws. And I've spread this whole ideology of living free as much as I can to my personal life, my love life, and everything else. I live me, I do me, and I don't really care if anyone else. It's not just the state. It's like social structures. It's the whole system. It's everything. And so many people are always they're conditioned or blinders on, and this is the path you go to work and you do this and you go home and watch TV or whatnot. And a lot of people it's probably that watch the show, and probably my show, whatnot. I used to be this guy. I used to just watch all this stuff and Liberty stuff. Barely did much in my hometown because, to be perfectly honest, I never thought that would even have an impact. Here, it can have an impact, but at the end of the day, even if it doesn't have an impact, I'm doing what I believe in, and it helps me sleep at night. And to me, that's the best. And I'm happy. I'm happier than I've ever been in my entire life. The past year of my life has been the best year that I could ever imagine be. And this upcoming summer I can't even wait on the ventures that's going to happen with my life. My life is like a never-ending adventure through the Shire. It's incredible. Every day is a great day.
Nice. Is it one of those books, Choose Your Own Adventure? Man, I used to love those things. Anyway.
Well, I mean, technically, yeah, because in all honesty, there's competing events going on all the time. I'm Shire Dude here is trying to convince me to go out to Keene Sunday, but there's no way I can because I'm already going to one thing in the morning in Concord, and then me and Ann already have plans to go out to Portsmouth. So it's there's always stuff that happens at multiple times. Where it literally is like a choose your own adventure thing, because there's all these different Facebook groups in the porcupine community. There's always different events or parties or meetups or something like that going on where you actually have to choose between what you want to do.
Yeah, that's huge. I just want to follow up on someone's comment on the Q&A feature here. Why no chat room? That has to be a question for you, Robert.
For me?
Do you guys have chat rooms normally?
Yes.
On
Okay.
your show?
Well, all right. Basically, long story short, we've been using since we went live on LRN. We were using rebelloveshow.com. I did some slacktivism, lost the website because I didn't really control it to begin with. I regained the domain, rebuilt the website. It is now up and running. rebelloveshow.com. Go check it out. It's a great site. It has our full archive with podcast and YouTube. We will be just go there every Tuesday night when we're live. You'll have the video feed from YouTube on there. We'll also have the LRN chat embedded right underneath the video. So we always encourage everyone on our show to go to the LRN chat or just go to our website now, and the chat will be embedded on there, so you can log in and chat. We do respond to the chat during the show. In fact, Shardu came up with a crazy cool camera angle where we actually put, during the commercial breaks, we actually put the LRN chat in the commercial break while we're talking, so the chat can actually see themselves on the video that they're watching on the on their same browser, which is kind of cool.
That is cool. Wow.
Well, also like microphones, and whatnot. Like I would highly. What are you using? Is that an Audio Technica?
No. Yes, it is. Audio Technica condenser.
Yeah, that's what.
Yep.
That's what we use.
Beautiful.
One of them right there.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a good microphone.
Yeah, it is actually.
Yeah.
It lasts longer than an hour. I'll end it with that.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Well, I mean, so when are you going to be? So are you going to take me up and go to these different social events and get out there? I mean, you're basically in the heart, like the Mecca of the Liberty Movement. You know,
Yes.
You're doing yourself an injustice not by going to different events and. Like,
I just moved here, Robert.
you lived in Mass. You lived in Mass for years. How long did you live in Mass?
Yeah, all my life. Yes. I'm again. Yeah. I
You
now I
couldn't
know.
get into any of this stuff.
I never even knew that existed.
Ow.
Didn't even know.
Let me put it to you this way, and I'm not giving the hearts on you already here. This is more for your audience. Whether you're a hardcore activist or whatnot, what I love here is just being in this community, drama withstanding, because there's fucking drama as far as the eye can see sometimes that blew up today actually. But at any rate, being here in this community is it's a voluntary community of volunteers and anarchists, and being around these people all the time is so liberating for your mind. It's you can finally feel free, like actually feel free, and you can be who you want to be and just do what you want to do, and you're doing yourself in service. You gotta go get into meetups, go to all the meetups around the state, make your introduce yourself to everybody.
Yeah.
Friend everyone too. Friend everybody.
Yeah.
Unless they really piss you off, then block them. But for the most part, friend everyone on Facebook.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, yeah, I've never even been to Pork Fest, so let me tell you a little bit about this.
Okay.
So I've known about Pork Fest for at least 4 or 5 years. I've been wanting to go, and my thing is I just haven't. That is the ultimate truth, and that is my fault for sure. And I think that it was also a little bit of like I'm still inside of me. I'm still a bit shy. So I grew up in a kind of a strange household, I think, in my opinion. It was a bit abusive, and so it kind of cramped me down, closed me down. You know what I mean? Just a little bit. And I'm still breaking out of that shell, but in college I broke out of that shell quite a bit. So I still feel a bit awkward around people sometimes. I met Michael. Michael, I keep on talking about. He's our co-host here. He's just not here today. But he met me in person about 2 or 3 months ago, and we're totally different people, but we work on this show somehow. And I notice it. He notices it. And so we make it work, like I'm not shy about that anymore. I would have been in the past, so it's taking me a while to get to these events, for example, especially Pork Fest. Unreal.
No, I can 100% relate to you about like being shy or an introvert or whatnot.
Yeah.
I definitely consider myself an introvert, okay? And when I moved here, because nobody knows who you are, like when you move here. Like there's so many people here. No one's ever really met you. And when you move, you could be if you put yourself in a completely different geographical area, you could be whoever you want to be. And I never wanted to be like I was always an introvert, shy guy. I still am. Sometimes I get social anxiety even now. I don't know how I even do the show, to be perfectly honest. I don't know how I get myself every week and do this.
If I might interrupt just a minute, because I stutter constantly. I've been doing that since kindergarten. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I know. Join the club. No, I get super nervous in the beginning of every single episode because there's so much stuff I got like taken care of. Like, okay, I have like I gotta make sure the mixer's going good. I gotta make sure the LRN feed's coming in right. I gotta make sure it's going out to YouTube right. I gotta make sure I hit record. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. I got I have been to chat. I got all these things going on.
Yeah.
And then they're like a guest would come on, especially if it's a guest like it's the first time guest on the show, and unless I really know him. And even then, if I really know him, I still get nervous at the beginning. Like the first segment's like the worst segment. Don't even listen to any first segment of any of Rebel Love Show. Like go to the second segment. Just skip 15 minutes ahead. It probably sounds better after that. Because after a while, I'll loosen up and be okay on the show. But I completely relate to what you're saying about that. And I purposely push my envelope in regards to being a social person as much as I can. Being here, it's like literally facing your fears or facing your mental issues like straight on, and that's what I 100% relate to what you're saying.
Right. But this is my problem because the brand, as it were, of Currency of Anarchy hasn't really gone very far with me, but with Michael, this thing's freaking taken off. We've had plenty of awesome guests on this show. The page he's created is awesome. Now it comes down to me. I got to follow through. So this is what I know.
It's a lot of work, isn't it?
It is, but at the same time, I know I can do it. It's one of those like, don't procrastinate. I'm not saying this for your sake. You get it. I'm saying it for your listeners. Like, this is hard work, people. All right, this is a lot of time and effort that you spend every week. Like, it involves, like you said, you're gonna edit and post it. Like, you have to do that every week, every week, and you have multiple co-hosts, so you have to all get along. All right, John, I hate you.
Look, I mean, I've gone through 2 co-hosts on this show, believe it or not. All right, it's it causes drama, and you have to get along with everyone. So you got that going on. That's hard work, just working with other people, and then getting everything done, promoting it too. You got to promote, and you don't want to feel like you're selling yourself, but like this is your pride. This is your art. Like this is an art form. Like I don't view this as just like a show. Like if you watch our show, we aim for a niche. Like we're trying to be like audio-visual artists that happen to do media. So. Like I'm putting like as much creativity as I can to it to make it like something that's unique, and that takes a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I spend so much hours on this. Right now, we used to do 4 episodes a week. We dropped down to 3, and that has helped tremendously. 3 episodes. I mean, not a week. 3 episodes a month. We used to do 4 a month. Now we do 3 a month because there's a new movers party every Tuesday, which you should be at the first Tuesday of every month.
I agree with that.
June 2nd. I better see you on June 2nd.
You will.
Yeah, it's a lot of hard work, people. My advice, you know how people say don't start a band? Don't start a podcast.
Man, why did we do this, John?
I was in a band like 15 years ago. I totally understand that. What pain in the ass it was.
Oh, man. Well, yeah, that's it. I mean, we have to all get along. I've had a co-host on here previously, and then we switched up, and we have Michael, and now we have John, so it's 3 of us, so it's awesome. But you have to get along. I basically am doing a lot of the technical aspects. I feel like Michael and John are gonna probably handle the web aspects, posting to Facebook, and it's just a lot of work, and even for just 3 people.
Yeah, like me and Shire, dude, we divvy up the work like tremendously well for the most part. I'm involved with the audio. I do audio. I handle the audio. He's all the visual guy. He comes up with the shots and like the crazy thing. I'm in like a DMT trip with the logo behind me. That's all him.
Yeah.
Like he's the creative genius behind all that. And then we both post like the same amount of time and whatnot. But like you got to have like teamwork and who does what, and still have like a similar creative like push of what you want the show to look like and whatnot. Work together.
Yeah, man. So I think we're almost about ready to wrap this up. I'm just going to go over the currency prices as of right now. Last time we did this show was actually 2 weeks ago. It was May 4th. And so Tonight I took these prices at 844. Last time silver was 1643. Tonight it's 1768. That's a $1.25 gain. That's 7.6%. Gold went from 1187.54 to 1223.90. That's $36.36. That's 3.1%. And Bitcoin went from 238.79 to 233.24. That's 555 down. That's 2.3%. I did not do any real research on where all these came from. I just spit out the numbers. But yeah, it does seem like there was a spike on last Monday. We weren't able to do the show, but there was a spike up in price on silver and gold. I haven't been following Bitcoin. Not a big deal though. Yeah, we did want to talk about Bitcoin a little bit. Is that right?
Sure.
How often? Yeah, how often do you actually use Bitcoin? Do you actually go to businesses to do transactions, or is this just like privately?
This is Match Vegas. Yes, I go to places in the real world and use Bitcoin. All right, I'll go to Murphy's, which is 2 blocks away from me, a tap room, and they accept. Not only do they accept Bitcoin, they have a Bitcoin ATM in their lobby.
That's fantastic.
All right,
Awesome.
and there's a gym I haven't gone to, a rock climbing gym in Manch that takes Bitcoin. I haven't been to it. I hear people love it though.
Cool.
There's a new place on Elm. Well, it's not a new place. It's a exotic chocolate making place, and called Dancing Lion. And they now take Bitcoin, and that place is amazing. That you gotta be spending a lot of money in there though. It ain't cheap. That place is expensive as hell, but worth it. And then there's another guy here, where he's a local. He's not a free stater, and he contacted me. We're friends on Facebook somehow, and he pays attention to my posts, and he messaged me. I never even met the guy until like at Bitcoin Meet later on. No, actually, I did meet him at PorkFest. Now that I remember. At any rate, doesn't matter. Local, not a free stater, messages me. I set him up with like the who's who of the Bitcoin community here, like the owners of Lamasu and like other like Bitcoin barons and stuff like that. I put them all in the Facebook group and tell them how to accept Bitcoin at his restaurant, which was actually ironically called Pizza 911. And so Pizza 911 is a pizza delivery service that accepts Bitcoin as well. So I can buy pizza with Bitcoin here in Manch. And then there's a thrift store / art store right down the street. The manager I'm talking to, we're trying to get her to accept Bitcoin. She's probably going to do it hopefully next week. I'm hoping she's slow on it, but she wants to. But that's. So yeah, there's places. There's actually are places that take Bitcoin. Oh God! And there's this great place. I'm actually gonna get a haircut there tomorrow. There's this place in Merrimack. It's called the Barber's Tool Shed. Okay.
Ooh, I've seen that.
And they give you free beer in there. It's a barbershop, and they give you free beer, and they take Bitcoin. They take Bitcoin, which is pretty cool too. But I also use Bitcoin in person, like all the time. I want to actually show you the history on my wallet. Don't look at the pricing on here because I have like multiple wallets. I have like a savings wallet, and then I have like a spending cash wallet. You know, kind of like you don't put all your FRNs in your wallet. You have like they're safe away. So at my phone, I have like multiple wallets, and I'm gonna point this to the camera. I'm gonna show you. Like all these transactions are in person, except for the last one. The last one I went, our hotel we're getting in Portsmouth, we bought with Expedia on Bitcoin, which I didn't know Expedia took Bitcoin, but apparently they do.
Ooh,
So I kind of blew through my wallet on that one. But all these transactions are in person. So I'm going to put it to the camera if you can see. So I don't know if it's focusing. Okay, all these right there. Oh, all right, hold on. All these right here. There it goes. Okay,
nice.
Those are all in-person transactions.
Very cool.
All right, those are in person. in-person transactions between another human being that has a blockchain or mycelium wallet on their smartphone.
That's incredible.
That is
I gotta
cool.
get the hell out of here.
It's normal life.
Yeah.
That's no, that's normal. That's like normal things that, like, you know, people will cover your tab with Bitcoin if like you're short and like, well, can I just pay you in Bitcoin? Like, oh yeah, sure. Everyone takes it. Everyone will do that to me. It's like, oh, I'm short in cash. Can you pay you in Bitcoin for a meal? That happens almost every time you go out with someone. Or you'll pay people for services with Bitcoin, or buy food. Like there's a Shire Co-op here in Manchester, where there's a bunch of people in the community that make, you know, they grow chickens and sell their eggs or sell beef and whatnot. It's like a market day. All those people there take Bitcoin. So like my rebel mistress Anne at the market day yesterday bought some homemade soap from another porcupine with Bitcoin.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We have
I use Bitcoin a lot.
We have a sponsor on this show, Holly Cogburn. She has body care products that she creates herself, or home products, I should say. And I do know that she's making toothpaste, or I hope, because I'd like to make use of that. You know, like it's just a all natural thing, and that probably will be my first Bitcoin purchase, because I still don't have that on my phone either. Michael has tried to get me into that 5 million times. Still don't have it. But,
You're such a bad anarchist.
Yeah, that's exactly what an anarchist is, a rebel. No, I'm just really slow.
Okay.
Yeah, anyway, I think we can wrap up the show, though. Yeah, so...
You mind if I plug something for you?
Please plug yourself any way you perform, man.
The 50th episode of the Rebel Love Show airs tomorrow night on Alaran.fm, and our guest that will be in studio will be none other than Rich Paul and Derek J. Derek J, mind you, who was inspired by us, went on a cleanse. He'll be ending that THC cleanse on our show.
That's awesome.
Watch that.
That's good stuff right there.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
So I'm looking forward to tomorrow night.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, John, what do you have to say, buddy? Anything else?
No, nothing in particular.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure who we're having on the show next week, because there's been a little miscommunication. But we are on next week. That will be May 23rd at 9 o'clock p.m. And this show will be out May 20th, 3 o'clock p.m. So please check that out. And thank you very much, Robert, for coming on the show. It was definitely a pleasure, man.
It was a blast. I hope to meet you soon in Manchester.
You absolutely will, and that will be Friday, the 3rd.
June 3rd is a Tuesday. That's the New Movers Party.
That's
but
right.
This Friday is the DUI checkpoint party. That's something you should go to. You would love it.
I will. Now that I'm thinking about it, I won't be able to make that, and that's because we're going camping for the weekend in Lee, Massachusetts. That will be fun, with my girlfriend's sister. But
Don't worry, there's gonna be.
I will be there for the movies party. The movies party is
There's
happening.
gonna be plenty more DUI checkpoint parties, so don't worry.
That I'm looking forward to, because any kind of video where it's just on the street, that's just awesome. You know.
If you want an idea what that's like, go to I have a Raw channel on YouTube. It's youtube.com/VRebelRaw or VRebelRaw. Or just search that, you'll find it. There are multiple playlists of every single DUI checkpoint party of all the raw footage that I took, so you can see what it's like walking around Elm, seeing all these porcupines out.
Yeah, I did see that, and everybody should be checking that out, because that's just phenomenal. Thank you all for watching. Take it easy. See you next week.